Hi everybody, I'm Greg Fishel. Welcome to bonus weather video number 3. And I got some comments back from some of you that you actually were curious about some of the coding that goes into producing these videos. And just keep in mind that I know just enough about programming to be dangerous, okay? But back when I was a WRAL, I worked with a meteorologist who you probably remember, Nate Johnson. And he had a dual major at NC State. He actually majored in meteorology and computer science. And so we had an idea. What TV stations do is they hire vendors, and there are a couple of main ones around the country that just about all of them hire one of these. One is called Barron Services, which is down in Huntsville, Alabama. They also manufactured the radar that WRAL bought. And also WSI, which I think it used to be in Boston, but it may be in DC now, I'm not sure. And then AccuWeather for a long time. I don't know if they still offer graphic systems or not, but they at least used to. And so they basically package all the data that they think you're going to need and package it in a way that they think is visually appealing. And then you're at the mercy of whatever they offer. And so we were thinking about the fact that, hey, there's a bunch of other data sets out there that aren't included in our agreement with our vendor. Is there a way to get that on the air? And so we monkeyed with a configuration file in the graphics system, made a couple of modifications, imported the data, and son of a gun if we weren't able to display it. So we were actually able to show data sets that nobody else in the country was showing unless they had somebody there that was actually going to go to the trouble to program a way to get this data and to get it into their system. So it was exciting. It's like every morning if I had an idea as to something I wanted to show that night, there was a darn good chance that I could get it on the air that evening. And so that really kept me motivated in the later years that I was there. So anyways, this is an example of a script, and I modified this just the other day because the way that the GFS, the American Model Ensemble, is set up, and even the operational model is the same way, is that it gives you precip totals in 6-hour increments. So it goes 0 to 6, 6 to 12, 12 to 18, and so forth. And so I wanted to show the isobar pattern at a certain time and the cumulative precipitation for the previous 24 hours, okay? So there's no one element in that data set that is going to give me 24 hours. I'm going to have to manufacture that. So let me take myself out of the picture here, so make sure I'm not blocking anything. So let's go up here. I hope you can see this okay. So there is a program called wget, which allows you to basically download files and give them whatever name you want to give that file. So we want to set up a loop first of all. And so since the first precipitation increment that I want to look at is 12 to 18, I'm going to define FF as the forecast time variable, and that's going to be 18. Then I set up, in a sense, what's called a do loop, where I say, okay, I'm going to cycle that forecast time variable all the way up to 180 hours, okay? And the do basically says to do that. Then the file name has 3 characters in it, regardless of whether or not the forecast hour has 3 numbers in it. And so like if it's forecast hour 6, it's 006. If it's forecast hour 12, it's 012, and so forth. And so I've got to put a line in here that says that if the forecast variable is less than 99, then put a 0 in front of it, so it'll read the file name correctly. So here's wget. The -O means I get to name the file that I'm going to download. And this is the URL. There's a very cool website called nomads.ncep.noaa.gov, and you basically pick the variables and the levels that you want to download, and then it creates a URL that will do that for you. And so this is the URL right in here. And I've got to go in here and make sure that it's going to read the year, the month, the day, and the hour. And that is done way up at the beginning of the program. You see up here, when I run the script, it asks me, enter the year, the month, the day, and the hour, and define those variables, which I did there. And so that's what it's reading here. You see the same thing here, the Y, the D, and the M and the D, and then the H here. And then the forecast hour is, let's see, where is that? Right there. So you see the dollar sign and then a bracket and then FF and then a closed bracket. That's what that is. And then the variables are precipitation, sea level pressure, and the levels are mean sea level and surface, okay? And then I say, after every time it downloads one of those, I say, okay, take that file and merge it into a file that doesn't have the forecast hour in it. We want to have one file with all the forecast hours. So append and grib means that it's going to put all those forecast hours in one file. And by the way, grib, all of the model data is in what's called gridded binary format, or grib, okay? And the program that I use to monkey with that is called wgrib2. And it's described as a Swiss Army knife for grib data. And there's a gentleman up at NOAA that was so helpful with me. Every time I had a question about how to use this program, he always immediately responded. And I don't think he ever knew how much I appreciated his help. But anyway, so you have wgrib2, and it's going to lump all these files into one. And as soon as it does this one, then I delete that file so I don't use up a bunch of disk space. And then it says, okay, let's go to the next forecast hour, 6 hours later, okay? So it increases it by 6, goes back to here, downloads that file, merges that into the file that has the first forecast hour, and so forth, all the way until FF gets to 180, okay? So once we have that file with all the forecast hours right in here, now we're going to start off with FF equals, FF1, I'm going to call it. FF1 is equal to 12, FF2 is 18, FF3 is 24, FF4 is 30, and FF5 is 36. So I'm going to do another do loop here, and there's something, I guess it's called reverse Polish notation, and the command for that is RPN. And so here I'm going to say, okay, in that file, if you see precipitation at the surface, and it has 12 to 18 hour forecast, which would be FF1 to FF2, then store that in memory slot number 1, okay? And then when you see 18 to 24, put that in memory bank number 2. If you see 24 to 30, put that in memory bank number 3, and 30 to 36, put that in memory bank number 4. And then you say, okay, if I have all these registers filled from 1 to 4, here's the RPN, and this is where you start doing the actual mathematical operations. So recall 1 is memory bank number 1, recall 2 is 2, 3 is 3, and 4 is 4. And if I have 4 numbers and I want to add them all together, I have 3 plus signs. So I got plus, plus, plus. And then I clear those memory banks, because if I don't do that, there's going to be stuff left in there, and the next time I use the program, it's going to mess up all the calculations. So I clear out all those memory banks. Then, finally, I create a file, and there's something called a product definition template, okay? So I define that as product definition template 0. I'm setting the variable to be named precipitation. I'm setting the level as surface. I'm setting the forecast time as FF5, which is 36 hours. I don't even know what this does. I just know that it has to be in there. And then I say minus grib underscore out. If it didn't have any mathematical calculations, I could just use minus grib. But if I use RPN, I've got to put grib underscore out, and then I name that file, okay? And so I named it temp.grib2 for temporary, and then I append that or merge it into a file called precip.final.grib2, okay? And then I go through this loop again, and basically I get 24-hour precip totals at hour 36, 60, 84, and so forth, all the way up to 180. And in the loop, I've got to cycle all of these forecast hours here up by 24, and then it goes back and it, puts all of those, or all of those forecast hours are what they need to be for the next set of additions that we're going to do. And let's see, up here, there was also another file. Let's see here. Actually, I guess I didn't have to do that. You remember when I came up here and I was downloading two variables, sea level pressure and precipitation? So the pressure file is right here, okay? And so I say, okay, if you see sea level pressure at this hour, then merge that into this file. So I've got two files now. I've got the precip file and the pressure file. And so I use the command cat to combine these two, okay, into one file, which I call surfacemap.final.grib2. Then I come over here to a really cool program called LuckGrib, okay, and this is made specifically for the Mac. And the guy that wrote this program never intended it to be used for this, okay? He was using it for people that did sailing and needed navigation help and all this type of thing, but he was shocked when he found out that I was using it for my weather videos. And so you import the file you created into this program, and then you have to go up here, and you only have to do this one time. And so when I click on the pressure file, you see where it says spacing? Well, I want to do every 2 millibars, and a millibar is the same thing as a hectopascal. That's what HPA is. So I set that up, and I want all the contours to be black. Then I come down here to the precipitation file, and I set up whatever thresholds I want, okay? I'm starting off at 0.05, then I go to 0.1, 0.25, and so forth, and then I define these colors as what we call RGB values, which are down in here. Every color can be defined by a combination of red, green, and blue, and there are 256 levels of all three of those colors. And the way you combine them, like if you want yellow, you do 255 units of red and green, no units of blue, and you get yellow. And so you get a feel after a while for what combinations of these different colors are going to give you what you want. And so I basically set all these colors up with the thresholds and enough temperature contrast so you can tell the difference. And then it displays it with that set of colors, okay? So then you have the map, and this is our, let's see, what am I looking at there? Hour 36. So I think I can do this here. Yeah. So I just hit the right arrow button and it cycles through. There's hour 60, hour 84, hour 108, hour 132, 156, and 180. And again, you can create any combination of variables you want, any set of colors you want, and you're basically all set. And then I basically put this data into PowerPoint, okay? And then you see it when I record the videos. So that probably was not the most efficient way to show you all of that, but at least it was my best attempt for now. I hope you found that interesting, give you a little insight as to how I actually produce this stuff. So that is bonus weather video number 3 for this week, and the next one will be coming up on Monday, and the next daily update will be coming up later this afternoon. So you all take care, folks. Let me put myself back in here so I can say goodbye to you properly. Have a wonderful Friday evening, an even better weekend, and we'll talk to you again on Monday. Take care.